Good everyone, this is John here from 3D Create Tutorials. Welcome to this channel. So today I'll be using Plasticity to create some additional forms on these bicycle helmets that was created before that I have on Gumroad as well as Skillshare. So if you want to check it out, you could always go to the links to check out the whole tutorial on how to create this helmet. However, I'm going to be showing you how to go from this to kind of making forms that are added to the form and then something more like this, which is really very smooth and clean, that extra detail to your objects. So let's get started. So we're going to first go ahead and hide everything here, just like that, simple as that. Now, one thing I'll be doing is I'll be adding this actual helmet. The actual basic face of this helmet will be included on my Patreon page, and this will be 100% free for anybody who wants to download it. And if you want to contribute to Patreon, go ahead and join. And definitely have other options and other tutorials and things like that throughout my process of teaching. So anyway, check it out. So here we go. So we're going to start off basically with just this model. And I will be, just like I said, we're going to have like a half side of this to work with. So it's just easier. You don't have to go through all this steps here, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway, in case you have another helmet and you want to do something similar. So I'm going to take off this. And right now I got the very top surface selected. Now, if you got a helmet that has more cuts in it, you're going to have like half of that, selected basically. So you got to select every piece of this basically to make that work. So once you got the main top layer, we're going to go ahead and now do a Shift D here. So Shift D, and it's that simple. We got it created. We're going to hit OK, and we're just going to work with the surface. So let's go ahead now and hide this object just like that. All right, cool. So here we go. So we got our first form, and we're going to start working it on the side here. All right, so we actually have it completely on the side. Make sure it's on this side. And let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the curve selection tool here, and I'm going to be placing some curves around this shape. So I'm going to start basically right about here and kind of place my line just to kind of help me pull a nice curvature there. And now that I got this, I'm going to hit the Shift D again. Like all my keys are down here, just so you know. And now that I made a copy, I'm just going to bring this down. I don't want to go too far, and I don't want to go, let me just go a little bit more this way and up a little bit. I just want to kind of have a nice curvature there. And I'm going to hit OK. Now, one thing I'm going to do is maybe adjust this one as well. So we'll select the line tool, select this G key, and move it over a little bit. So I'm trying to get more of a little bit skinnier on this end, a little bit wider on this end. GQ again. I'm just going to, something like, I get too close to this hump here because it will be causing some problems. You got to think about these things when you create stuff. Where is it smooth, and is it going to be easy if you get into that right? I mean, you can take that away if you wanted to, but I really don't want to do that. I kind of like that curvature on the end, so I'm going to keep it the way it is. So just trying to stay away from that. All right, another thing we could do is we could also rotate it if we wanted to. It just really depends on what you want, right? So if I rotate this, I could kind of do something like this, and then get 2 G's and just move it over a little bit more. And see, it's skinnier now and wider here, which is, it depends on what look you want, right? So I'm going to go with that for my tutorial here. So, all right, so I got this done. And for this first one, I'm going to select the actual helmet surface, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the C key and select both of these. And I'm good with where these locations are, and hit OK. So basically what I've done is I cut that section away from this section and this section. And now I could just basically hide these and get them out of my way. Now, this one is here, right? So I know these are here. So just kind of keep that in mind where you're at. I got a lot more stuff here, so don't pay attention to all that. Anyway, let's go ahead and hide it again. Hide, hide. All right, cool. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create and start selecting these lines. Basically hide these things right now. I don't need them right now. And I also need to start going in and just selecting these edges. We got to keep these edges so it's easy to put back in. So we're going to do a Shift D again, right? And again, hit OK. Select this one and this one, Shift D, and again, hit OK. And now we can actually hide that last surface, which was this one and this one. And now we got these lines, right? This gives us a nice curvature of that form. So we need this to help us with modeling this section. Okay, so what I normally do with something like this, I would try to go to the side, just like that. I'm going to use this line to help me kind of pull out the design I need. So you can either start with a line or you can start with a curve. This time I'm going to start with a line just to give it a little bit more of an edge. And I'm going to go back and kind of modify that. So we're just going to go out, make sure it's kind of on that line. I don't want to go too many, but I don't want to go too less. So I'm going to go about here. I think maybe about here, 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 and here. And now that I've done that, I could go back in and hit the points. And this gives me my points. So I could go in here, just select these 2 points here. Now keep in mind that you have the right direction, and I need to move these outward. So how do we do that? We can hit the G key, we can hit the V key, and we want to place it right where the line is going straight. So we could pull this out now, just like that. Now, one thing you'll notice is it's very sharp, and that's fine. But if you want it to be a little bit less sharp, you can go in and modify it. Now, another thing I'm going to do here is I kind of want this to be a little bit lower. It's going to be too close to that edge. So I'm going to take all this here, just move it a little bit, G key, just kind of keep it along that line if I can. Doesn't have to be exact, but close. It just will get me a much better situation at the end of this. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to select these two, B key, get a little closer. I'm going to pull this out on the plus with a fillet, so it's nice and smooth. And if you do sharp, it might not work very well. It might not work at all. So keep that in mind. You always want to have a smooth with a smooth at the ends if you can. It's not to say it might work, but I just don't suggest doing it. So again, B key. And we're going to do again plus. One thing you want to do is you don't want to go past these lines. So you want to always keep it on the other side. It just makes better smooth form. This might be a little bit off right here. So I might need to move that one. So hit OK. So this one, I could kind of move this over just a little bit, just to get past that edge. All right, cool. So we got the form. And the main objective now is to take this form, and we can actually hit OK. And we can go back to this. Just like this. Okay. We can go to the side or the top. Top's fine too. And I could do an E key to extrude it. We're going to extrude it this way. So that's going to be kind of your form, right? And now we could take this and hide it. So great. So this I can also hide. I don't need this anymore. So this is going to basically go along this line and kind of come down to this end here. Now, I could pretty much just go with what I have now. So let's try that first. I'm going to first go with this one. Because of the distance here and the angle, I can't really do the loft from here to here. I have to do from up to down. And that's the only way it's going to really work. So if I hit the L key here, we get a loft, right? I hit the Shift key, and I want to select these edges. It's going to take a second. Make sure you get all these sections selected. And once you get that done, continue to the end, right? So that worked really good. So look at that nice form. It just looks really clean. And it starts slowly, dying out to the end. And that's kind of a look if you want that. And it's just that simple, right? And I could also hit the Shift key to make sure it actually hits this edge and it aligns with the other part. If I don't do that, it will be like indented. So make sure you do that too. So we got all that done. We got a G1, and yeah, it's good. So hit OK. So now that I've done that, I can now select this end piece, hit the delete key, and get rid of it. All right, cool. So now let's go ahead and see what we got. So we got this bottom piece, we have this piece, and we have this piece up here. There we go. So one thing you're going to notice is that there are separations, right? And that's fine. we could take this one and basically delete it. We don't need it anymore. This is the blue. Whoops, Control Z. Got the wrong one there. We want to make sure we select the edges. So again, we could hide it, I guess, for now, just in case. All right, so we can see that there's a little bit of line there, and I still got to connect it. One thing I always suggest is that once you create your forms, it's good to have a little bit of separation between these forms, and I would reconnect it. So what do I mean by that? I would go in and just kind of cut out a little piece of this. And I could go back to the lines here to see what I have. So we know that we have this. And I'm going to suggest that we kind of go in and just take a chunk of this and a chunk of this away. And let's do that real quick. So first of all, select the edge, Control R, and I'm going to hit the Tab key. I'm going to make sure it's a little bit past the edge of that line on the top, right about there. So this way it has a little bit of space between, okay? I'm also going to do this again, Control R. And this is isoparam, that's kind of what it's called. And if it's the wrong way, you hit the Tab key. And again, I'm going to go back to about here, not exactly, but a little bit lower, right about there. All right, cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of just creating the form so I can now get rid of this little section here. And I can select this one too, Shift X, and that will delete those edges, okay? One nice thing is this is playing really well right here. You got to be careful when you cut into a form that's weird or like a bad angle or something. So kind of keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff. So I'm going to delete that. And yeah, that looks really cool. I think it has a nice form. And now the trick is just adding in a little bit more of an edge here. If you get too close to these edges, you're going to have it kind of pull, and it's going to cause a little bunching up in both bottom and top. If it's perfectly flat and with this line and that line, then it's not a problem, but it's always good to kind of just work this if you can. So what I'm going to suggest is that we kind of just go in and just do the same thing we did earlier, use the curve. I'm going to kind of, like I said, like last time, I'm going to pull it right about here just to give it a nice curvature and something like about here. Now this is going to be too far. I'm going to bring it back in. Just move it a little bit like that. I don't want to go past, again, the hump. I'm going to try to stay away from too much of that indentation right there. All right, so that's one. So two, we could do basically select this, hit the C key, and we selected it, hit OK. Now we could just delete this part. This gives us a really nice separation. All right, so what I could do now is the same thing we just did. We're going to go over here, kind of like about here, and kind of just move this over about to here. You see how it kind of just follows along? Go about there. And then I go to the points, and I can kind of move this over. So G key, bring this upward. And I really don't like this too far. So again, hit OK. This one, G key, right about there. I don't want to get too much of that cut. All right. So there we go. Now we got this form. We can select it. C key again. And we're going to cut it, hit OK. Take this piece away. It's really that simple. All right, so we can take these two lines and get rid of them. So delete those, okay? So first of all, we're going to select this one. We're going to select this one. And we're just going to hit the L key, simple as that. Now they're both G1, exactly what we need. And we can hit OK. And now that we've done that, we can now select this one, hit the J key, and we're joining those two actual surfaces. Hit OK. Same with this. Select this one, J. And there we go. Now, you see there's a little bit of a bunching up here. That's okay. We can fix that. Another way to do that is to kind of redo this, but I'm going to kind of work around this in a minute. I think I have a better way to work that right now in a minute. So let's go ahead and just finish what we're doing. So first of all, select the line here, here, L key, and again, hit the OK. So let's select it, this one, F, actually, escape, J key, and we got that connected. This one, J key, and it's connected. So this form here is looking pretty bad. So what can I do to make that better? I'm going to take this and just take these two forms and first of all join them. I want this to be one form. Okay, so everything's one. And now I'm going to go and just use a way to cut this. So hit the F key. I'm going to go with the bridge curve. Now, if you don't have it, just do a search in here, and you'll come up with this same tool. All right, so I'm going to go right about here. Don't go too far or too close. About right about there is fine. And then right about here. This will help us kind of rebase that thing perfectly along this line. All right, so we got this. I'm going to bring this one here basically to 0 or 1. And this one, I'm going to go opposite to 0. Perfect. So right about there. Now you notice that these shapes are not really working very well because it's now a curvature and this is not exactly straight. But that's okay. So kind of see how this is looking on this direction as well. And for now, I'm just going to use it to cut. So what we can do is take, again, this straight, use the cutter, C key, and select it. And I hit OK. And that's it. Now I got this little extra piece here. I can delete that. And this is really clean. This is not. So what am I going to do to make that work? Well, we can go in here and select this little section here and do a Shift X again, just to delete it, right? This is not working either. This is your main object though, so we don't want to mess this up. So what I'm going to suggest we do now is, again, do the same thing we just did, but I'm going to use these two shapes. So F key, bridge curve, and we're going to select right about, now this is the problem, right there. It's a little bit too soft. So I'm going to go right about here, and I'm going to go right about there. It's going to bring this back in to there, and we'll bring this one to there. Okay, so that's done, and we can hit OK. Cool. So what can we do to make this work? This needs to be extended. This needs to be kind of fixed. All right, so we can just go ahead and let's see if I can just take this and this one and extrude it. E key, F key. Oh, it is. Okay, well, that's good to know. So we can go straight, just like that. Let go. All right. So let's see if we can now cut it. C key, this one, and hit OK. And what I've done here, it's kind of, I think we could just cut this one here, Shift X, select this, and we delete that. All right, and we could delete this one too. Now we got that form. Now we got to make sure that this is going to work. It is a little bad on the angle, and I don't like the way it's coming out. So that's kind of the issue when you have like a full cut on the end. You're going to have some problems like this. It's going to happen no matter what. So with this now at a bad angle, not liking that at all, we can kind of go in and just modify. I think what I'll do is I'm going to go from here to here, right there. And I think I can do a little bit better job with that. And I could change the form just a little bit. So let's go ahead and, first of all, escape. We're going to go F key again. This time I'm going to do G1. So let's just do this because it will take less of a turn. And I'm going to go over here and pretty much right about there. And again, I'm going to bring this the other way and this one the other way. And I'm going to go to G1, G1. I could also do the tension. So this is helpful. So if I want to lower the tension, I can start going a little bit over it the other way, just like that. right? So now I got this piece cut. Perfect. All right, so that will work. So let's go ahead now, select it, C key, select this, first of all, cancel. Select this one, C key, select it, hit OK. All right, so this is giving us the opportunity to get rid of that piece that was not working. And there we go. Very clean. And we got that resolved. Now, we should be able to take both of these and do the right thing here. Let's just do this, L key. And if it's not working for you, again, what we can do is create the edge, just like we did before. So I'm going to go back to undo. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep this. So let's just get rid of that. Start it over. F key, bridge curve, and we're going to start right here and right there. Now we can pull this in the other way, pull this in the other way, hit OK. So one thing you'll notice is that it's kind of at this angle. So we're going to hit the E key, F key. I'm going to pull it this way. This will give us a stopper. Now we can just take this one and hide it. Okay. This is going to give us an ability to connect this now properly. Now, I could get away with this. Let's see how this works. So again, L key. You'll see at the end here, it's not working. So we're going to hit this now with the shift. And I could hit G0 because this can be flat at the end. And just got to make sure that this is flat. Okay, so that worked out really well. And yeah, that works out great. Hit OK. All right, so that's simple. And now we can go in and take these and add them back together again with the J key. And let's not forget to delete this time. Delete it. There we go. Okay, so now we got these, J key. First J, this one, J. Okay. Same thing as last time. We're just going to go in, thicken it. So we can select it just like this. Go here, thicken, pull it down, let it go for a minute. There we go. And that's about the thickness of a helmet, so let's go with that. All right, so what can we do now to add it back together again? Well, I would suggest, first of all, that we select this edge and delete it. So Shift X, and now it's open, and select this one, Shift X. All right, so those are both open. So now we can go in and just go ahead. Again, what we can do, I mean, this is another option. We could just select a little piece of this and delete it, and then reconnect it. That's an easy way to do this, so that way everything in the center works out perfectly. So what I mean by that, just going in here and just kind of getting real close to this. I don't need it to be too much. I just need it about there. And what that does is give you the ability to really connect this together properly. C key, select this, hit OK. And then we can select this and delete it. And we can also select this piece here. Delete, delete. And again, it's open like it's supposed to be, right? So let's go ahead now to the side, mirror. First of all, select it, mirror, and right down the center. Perfect. And again, they're supposed to be away from each other, which is great. So simple as this. We just select each of these lines. We do that. And we can do Shift Alt that. And hit the L key. Now, if it doesn't work, that's fine. We do one at a time. So let's do this first. I would also suggest putting this on so you can see what you're doing. This one. And this one. L. G1, G1. Hit OK. This one. This one. L. Same thing. Hit OK. And we can now select this, 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 and this J key. And it's all connected. Select these 4 and just do a Shift J. And I'll put these at G1. Okay. Same thing at the bottom. I'll get this done first. So again, around Shift J, G1, G1, hit OK. And this is all connected now. So let's do the other part now. I could do this. I just want to select the one layer at a time. It's kind of sometimes a little tricky, right? But it's not too bad. All right, let's go back over here. And we can get rid of this one. See, that looks good. And we could do the same thing here. Shift, Alt, get rid of this one, this one. You kind of see through it, right? There we go. Okay. And we got one more piece over here. You see it right here? That one. All right, hit the L key. There we go. G1, G1, G1. Okay. And again, we can select this, this, J key. So that's one. And now we got to do the inside. So let's go ahead and do again. Right to the edge here, Alt key, and it got the whole thing. And we do not want it to select these edges. So we can do something like this. This one I do want. And we can go back to the other side and see what we got. Deselect these, L key, there it goes. G1, G1. Okay. So we can now go back to this, this one, this one, this one, J key. All right. Just going to select these little sections here. Shift J. G1, G1. All right. Let's see how this looks now. I just need this one as well. So we can have a closed shape. Shift J. Again, G1, G1. And that's pretty much it. Now that we've done that, we have a solid. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. That's how we get this done. And now we don't have any lines that show up that look really bad. It just looks very clean. And we can always do this again. Problem with sometimes we do this, it changes back to what you were doing. And we can bring this way down. Yeah, so that's the trick here. It's just to create, a nice edge like that and make it kind of blend into the end. And it's just a slow, gradual blend, right? So that's one way. Now, you could always do similar, but have the edge here cut out. And I'm going to show that to you next. So you can have it kind of just cut out like halfway or whatever you want to do, and you won't have that problem anymore. So that's it for this part of it. So let's continue. Okay, so let's go ahead now and go to the next options, and so you can learn how to actually do one that's not all the way through. So we're going to move this over to the side and basically hide it. So there we go. And now we can then hide the other object that I have here. So I'm going to do that real quickly. And there we go. And again, I'm going to select it like before. Take this off. Make sure we have it selected. And Shift D. And there we go. Basically the same process. We're just going to take this and hide it now. And we're starting off again. Okay, I'm not going to go through the ending of how to reassemble everything on this because we've gone through that whole process. But this one is just going to basically show how to cut it a little bit closer to the end and not so far out. And it just gives you a different look to it, right? All right, so here we go. Okay, so we're going to take the curve and we're going to also go back over here and kind of select it and bring it out, a simple line. I'm going to make it more of an angle here. So I want to have enough space to kind of end it. I'm going to right click here, Shift D this, bring one down, bring one out. And again, we can kind of rotate this if we want, just to give it a little bit wider end. G key. And I'm going to try to get it close to the same shape over there. I might have to extend this out a little bit, maybe. Actually, I'm okay with that. Let's just do this anyway. G. Okay. So that's it for that. Okay, another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take another line, which is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and create one right here, kind of away from it. And there we go. And I'm also going to create another line right here on the tip, just like that. And this gives us the ability now to take these ones here and connect them. So let's go ahead and join all those together with a J. Okay. So now that we got this done, we can select this, hit the C key, and select it. And hit OK. So now we got this section here that's going to be cut. Now I need some space, like I was saying, so I'm going to use this now and C key it and just select it right there. Hit OK. Now, it didn't cut this, it just cut that right, so that's perfect. So I can actually hide this for now. I might not need that again. And we can get rid of some of these lines. So go ahead and hide these. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select this and just name this helmet sheet so I know what it is. There we go. And I can hide this for now. Okay. So again, same process as before. We could take these edges, Shift D them. Okay. This one and this one, Shift D. Same process. Hit OK. We could take this now and hide it. All right, so here we can do the line again. Let's go ahead and go with it. I'm just going to go with the line, regular. And again, it's a nice curvature here. Let's just take this. And I'm going to just keep going with this. Maybe so many sections, just to get a nice form. And I'm not even going to do this one here. It's separate from this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go to the points again, And I'm going to select these here, G key, B key, just like we did before. And just go ahead and pull these out like this. Now, this is going to be a little different. I'm going to make it kind of stand out a little bit differently than before. So I'm going to take this one here, B key. I'm going to make this more of a very soft edge here. Not too much, but kind of more, I guess, more of a sharper edge. And this one here, I'm going to really crank it up, just nice and curvature. And I would also do the same thing here. B key, just really make that nice and kind of like it's flowing into it, right? So again, just different ways to kind of make your shapes. And again, I want to make sure everything is kind of dialed in. The end ones I don't care about. It's just the ones throughout that I have to make sure I make it clean. So B, this one can also be pulled like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I rejoin this together is I'm going to create another opening here to kind of give it some space. So I'm going to do something like this. Like this. And tab key. And then into the space. So something like this. And do the same thing on the bottom. So again, bring it through into the space. Do this again. Make sure we get the curve. Tab. And something like that. All right, so let's do this again. So take this C key, and we can go ahead and do that. Hit OK. C key. We're just trying to create some spacing here. So let's delete this, delete this. Okay. So now what we can do is we can select this one like we were going to do in the first place. First of all, let's go and get rid of this. Delete, delete. Okay, let's do this again. Select these two, L key. And we're going to go back here and connect all this now. So Shift key, we're going to select all these edges. Keep going. Like that, like this, and this last one here, like that. All right, cool. So that's done. All right, so we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to use the isoparam. So select the face, Control R, and we're going to tab key here. We're going to bring it close to that location. Same thing here, Control R, tab. I'm going to bring this again very close to this edge, just like that. All right, so now we should be able to select this section and this section. Hit the L key and connect. Perfect. Okay, we went with the object selection mode again. Join. That works fine with the object. And then let's go ahead and select these pieces here. This one and this one. L. Perfect. Okay. Object selection. These two join. Okay, cool. So now we got a very smooth, if we take this off, a very smooth transition there. And we could do something here, but there is definitely a little bit of spacing there. Okay, let's take a look at this now and fix this. Go back to the lines. going to try to just select it all and actually cap it. So let's just do this. Make sure we get all of it. And Shift J. Now, a few things to note. You're going to have to do a G1 here. G1 pretty much throughout. And we could just hit G1. That's the easier way to do that. And hit OK. And now this has given us the ability to see if we can reconnect this now. Sometimes you can't reconnect because there's just too much to it. Let's try this one. That one worked. Okay, so we can now get rid of this piece here. Let's take the lines off and see what we have. We could also paint it. So let's just hit the M key. Give it a nice blue or something. This time I'm going to give it all metal to see how this looks with reflection. And we could see that does look really clean. You know, the only thing I'm not really liking is that little coloration there. So how could you get rid of that? Well, you could spread this up a little bit more just to make it better. So what I could do is take this off and basically have more of a separation there. So what I mean by that is we can go in here and just kind of take away some of this. So let's do that real quick. We're just going to do a box over to here. I think I'm going to show this so I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to do something like this, this, and I want to get past that. So I want to go to the points, G key, just a little bit past it. Let's see if this will, help us with that smoothness. We'll go with that. Okay. So what I can do now is take this, C key it, cut it, just like that. And we can do something like Control R. Get in there like we did before. And here, Control R. This is just another easy way to kind of reform things. So then we can go in here and just select all this. Just keeping that one shape. Shift X, right? And then we can do something like this. Delete. Here to here. L key. And this gives us a really nice soft form there. Again, select it, join it, go. These as well, join. Okay, now let's go and connect this together. This one, loft, and hit OK. Select the shape, join it. There we go. All right, that's coming along nice. And now we can just close this section up right here. So again, select it. And we can do a Shift J. Hit G1. There we go. Hit OK. Now, if we go back to this, M key again. First of all, select it. M key. again, we'll go to a nice blue or something, maybe a lighter blue, something like that. Metal all the way up and roughness down. Let's do something like this. Let me think about, let's go to bronze and then hit M. We could change this color, blue. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to take the middle of this completely down. Maybe right about there. All right, so now we can see the way it smoothly goes across this. Yeah, I think that came out really nice. Anyway, I hope this helps everyone learn how to create these forms on an existing form when you want to add some detail to it. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and subscribe and thumbs up if you like this kind of material. All right, thank you.